When this man's wife gave birth to a black baby, his reaction was nothing short of devastating. He abandoned her in the cruelest way imaginable. Blinded by suspicion and rage, he walked away without seeking the truth. But 2 decades later, a twist no one could have predicted turned his entire world upside down. Theresa trembled as Noah advanced toward her, his face twisted in rage. Clutching the newborn tightly to her chest, she tried to stay calm while silent tears streamed down her cheeks. Dread gripped her as his furious voice thundered, "Who's the father of that thing?" His glare was sharp and unforgiving. Theresa remained frozen, unable to speak. "Answer me," he shouted again, slamming his fist into the wall beside her. The sudden blow made her flinch, her body shaking with fear. Noah let out a furious groan, his fists clenched tightly as he shot one final, icy glare at Theresa. Without saying a word, he turned and stormed out of the hospital room. Silent tears streamed down Theresa's face as she watched her husband walk away. She looked down at the baby boy sleeping peacefully in her arms, so innocent, so undeserving of such a harsh beginning. Despite her love for him, confusion gnawed at her. Both she and Noah were white, yet their son was clearly not. Even the doctors had no explanation. They could only recommend a series of tests, including a DNA test, in hopes of uncovering the truth. 5 days later, Theresa was discharged from the hospital alone. Not once during her stay had Noah called or come to see her. The silence cut deeper than any words. She couldn't help but feel heartbroken by his absence. Weren't they the ones who had promised to stand by each other through everything? While she could understand his shock and anger, she couldn't excuse the cruelty of leaving her to face it all alone. Walking out on her in the hospital was a betrayal she never imagined. It meant he had lost trust in her completely. Even if he doubted the child was his, they could have taken a DNA test. That was better than doubting her without proof. When she finally got home, she met Noah. He gave her a cold, hostile look and walked straight into the guest room. Theresa sighed and entered their room. A few minutes later, after feeding the baby and making sure he was asleep, she went to confront Noah. Noah looked up in shock when Theresa entered the guest room. "What do you want?" He bellowed, angry she even had the nerve to walk in. Theresa remained silent until she was close enough. Then she began to remind him of their early days, the vows they had made to each other. She asked him why he would abandon her at the hospital and entertain such doubts. Why would he think she had ever been disloyal? She swore she had never even considered cheating on him. She even suggested a DNA test if he still doubted her. Tears streamed down her face as she pleaded, but all Noah did was throw her dirty looks. When she finished, Noah let out a sarcastic laugh. "I'm not wasting money on a DNA test," he snapped. "It's obvious you were unfaithful with a black man." He told her to leave with her bastard and go meet her lover, or he'd make life unbearable for her and the baby. Then he shoved her out of the room and slammed the door. Theresa sat by the door and wept bitterly. She continued to bang and plead, but Noah remained silent. The only thing he said was, "Pack your things and leave, or I'll make you regret it." When she was exhausted from pleading, she got up and returned to her room. She decided to give Noah space. Maybe he needed time to think. That night, she called her sister and explained everything. Her sister drove over to help pack a few things and essentials for the baby. As Theresa got into the car with her baby, she looked back, hoping Noah would come around. But no one appeared. Her sister comforted her, promising everything would be okay. A few days later, Theresa woke up to discover all the money in their joint account had been emptied. Shocked and heartbroken, she couldn't believe what she was seeing. She got dressed and rushed to confront Noah. This was madness. But when she reached the house, it was empty. Noah's things were gone. Hers too. Even the baby's items had vanished. Why was Noah doing this? Why so much pain over an accusation he refused to prove? Hours passed before Theresa noticed a piece of paper by the wall, a note from Noah. Her heart pounded as she read, "My dear Theresa, I can't believe you betrayed me like this. I can't imagine life with you and that bastard. It's better if we call it quits. Please don't try to reach me. You'll be hearing from my lawyer soon." Theresa's eyes widened. When the realization hit, she collapsed, sobbing uncontrollably. She tried calling Noah, but his phone was switched off. She guessed he had blocked her. She called her sister and explained everything, crying bitterly. 2 weeks later, Noah's lawyers delivered the divorce papers. Exhausted from the pain and tears, she signed without protest. Her sister tried to lift her spirits, saying Noah never deserved her. Still, nothing could truly ease her suffering. Theresa never blamed her baby for the chaos. Each time she looked at him, she was filled with love and gratitude. She named him Ethan. Determined to raise him with love, she resumed work at a microfinance bank after her leave. But the emotional toll affected her performance. Once bubbly and efficient, Theresa became withdrawn. Her supervisor, Jeremy Ross, noticed the change. When he asked, Theresa tried to hide it. Eventually, she broke down and shared her story. Jeremy was moved. He comforted her and encouraged her to stay strong. From then on, Jeremy would take her out during breaks and visit her on weekends, spending time with her and Ethan. Over time, a strong friendship formed. Jeremy, a widower who had lost both his wife and child, found comfort in helping Theresa heal. A year later, feelings developed. Jeremy confessed he wanted more. Though Theresa had started admiring Jeremy, she still loved Noah and politely declined. Still, Jeremy stayed. One day, Theresa burned her legs while rushing to check on Ethan. In pain and with no one else to call, she phoned Jeremy. He rushed her to the hospital and offered to care for Ethan until she recovered. Jeremy had become a devoted father figure, so much so that Ethan affectionately began calling him Papa. When Theresa was discharged from the hospital, Jeremy insisted she take time to rest at home. During those quiet days, Theresa came to a realization. She had fallen in love with him too. Ready to embrace a new beginning, she returned to work, walked into Jeremy's office, and confessed her feelings. "I love you," she said softly, "and I want to take this further." Jeremy was overjoyed. 2 years later, on Theresa's birthday, Jeremy surprised her with a proposal in front of their entire office, hiding the ring inside a birthday cake. Overwhelmed with emotion, Theresa said yes, and they were married 3 months later. Together, they raised Ethan with unwavering love and support. He flourished, eventually graduating from college and landing a promising job in tech. But on Ethan's birthday, an unexpected guest appeared. Noah. Aged, disheveled, and full of remorse, he pleaded for a chance to speak. Theresa turned to Ethan and quietly said, "That's the man who walked away from you." Furious, Ethan demanded that Noah leave immediately. Noah tried to explain. His mother had confessed years ago that she had been unfaithful, and the child wasn't his. But instead of seeking the truth, he chose a reckless path, squandering his life with a younger woman who only cared about his money. In time, he lost everything: his job, his savings, and his health, eventually suffering a stroke. Now, desperate and alone, he wanted a second chance. But Theresa and Ethan stood firm. "You have no place in our lives," Theresa said coldly. In the years that followed, Noah lived in a nursing home, consumed by the weight of his regrets. What do you think of this story? Let us know in the comments section. I hope you like this story. Please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. Also subscribe and press the bell icon to never miss the update from our channel. Thank you.